You're listening to Dumpster Diving with
Janice,
and Jane. And this is our holiday edition.
holiday
We're decked out. I
edition.
got my
Oh
cotton
wait, yep.
knitted mini muggins
I got
elf shirt
my
on.
Mary.
She's
Yep.
merry with some lights. We're
Yep.
both drinking coffee, I think, still.
Disclaimer, if you have epilepsy or are prone to seizures, don't watch the YouTube version. Unless you want to see Jane do a spit take, in which case go ahead.
Yeah, because that is funny. And yeah, so if you do suffer from seizures, from bright lights, or just annoyance, don't watch our show.
If you
Um,
suffer from seizures due to annoyance, don't ever watch our show.
exactly. That's what I'm like. Or due to annoyance. This is
Any
not a
episode,
show for
every
you.
episode.
You're
We
probably
should
going to get
start
the
doing
ick.
this. So one of the podcasters that I listen to, you and I've talked about this before, is Armchair Anonymous or Armchair Experts, and they do this episode where people they have a prompt and people call in and tell their stories, but they always do a disclaimer at the beginning to tell you like if there's like death stories or gross
Right.
stories. We should just start disclaiming every episode that we do.
Oh
Just
my
to be,
God, that would be great. Like, okay,
yeah,
today's disclosure
I
is
like it.
you're just not going to like us afterwards.
If you don't like Christmas, don't listen to this
Yeah,
episode.
if you don't like
If
Christmas,
you're a bah humbug, don't listen to this
yeah,
episode.
if you're a Grinch, I don't even want to talk to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you think you have the perfect Christmas every year, don't listen to this episode. We're about to break the
No,
myth.
no,
Yeah.
because we were just discussing if you don't like it looking like Christmas threw up,
Yeah.
then we're going to give you the ick because Christmas threw up in my office this morning.
You're
I
not
was
our
like,
people. You are going to
yeah,
get
you're
the
not our
ick.
people. We are
Yeah.
tchotchke loving
Yes.
Christmas
Yes.
decorating people. And
Yes.
I mean,
All
to
the
the point
above.
where we decorate ourselves. Look at us.
That's right. Right. See, it's well, here's what I know about our listeners, Jane. I know that they rely on me to bring the class. And so,
And
I have to,
so is my
hey,
part the
what?
ass?
I was going to say,
Bring the
what was
class,
that
I bring
look?
the ass.
I feel, well, actually, I feel like maybe neither one of us bring the
Well, no,
class.
actually, we both have nice butts. I think that we got that
That's
from
actually true.
yeah,
That part.
we both
Yeah.
have nice butts. And I will
I
say,
had
that chick,
no idea our conversation was going to land here, by the way. I'm not
right.
really sure how we got here.
I don't think that we should stand up and turn around or anything, but I'm just saying,
No.
like sisters, like we definitely from the backside, we look
There you go.
alike.
There you go. We look alike. Yeah. You know what? We've had many conversations about what qualities did we get from our father's gene pool. Evidently, that's
Right.
it.
Evident, or our moms had great asses because my mom had a great ass or has a great ass. Like she's always had a bubble butt. Like
I don't feel like my mom does. Not that I mean, again, it's been
her
a long
looks.
time since I've seen her ass, so
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
it's been a long
remember.
time since I've seen my mom's ass. I mean, the last
Yeah.
time I saw my mom's ass was I think I was like 14.
I wonder how long our
This is a
listeners want to
trauma.
listen
This
to
is a
us
trauma
talk about
story.
this. Oh
No,
no, trauma.
this is a trauma story. So
Again, I can't tell you where this is going, so be warned. Go ahead. Trauma story about your mother's ass. Let's
yes.
hear it.
So I'm asleep. It's
Okay.
3 a.m.
Yes.
I hear a rustle in my room. Or I feel like somebody's in there. Like, you know how you like wake up and like your kid's staring at you and you're like, ah, like that. Well, I'm like 14, 15. I'm in my room. And this is the first time I ever had my own room. And I had a big vanity mirror and all, like and it was always clean. I feel somebody in my room and I crack open my eyes and it's my naked mother in my room looking in the mirror. Ooh, it looks like I've lost some weight. And she's naked,
Oh
like in my room. It's
my
the only like full mirror. I
God.
think I lost some weight. And she was like, oh, I can't wait to start wearing Laura's clothes. Like, what the fuck?
So she thinks you're asleep
Yeah,
and
in
she's
my room
turning
naked,
around.
looking at herself in the mirror and discussing with herself how soon she's going to be wearing my
Oh,
clothes.
very quick parenting lesson. Don't do that.
It's weird
You're welcome.
and
Don't do that.
traumatizing. Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like some people
Wow. Wow.
all there and just do weird shit. And to say my life was normal is
No, well, our regulars know
very
no
wrong.
different. No different. So
Anyway,
wow.
so
Well,
let's get back into the holiday spirit and let's talk about
yes. Okay, let's talk about ick because our listeners aren't going to know this, but before we hopped on, we were talking about a bunch of crap. But one of the things is like this funny video you just saw. So
right.
tell us about the ick because we have ick stories.
We have ick stories, and it's funny because I never knew that this was a term, and recently I started hearing it, so it's like probably a newer thing. but this comedian, I was watching a reel and this comedian comes on and he was like, yeah, he was like, I had no idea about the ick. He's like, I have a female friend that was like, yeah, the guy gave me the total ick and I knew I wasn't going to sleep with him. And he was like, what is the ick? And she goes, just one of those small things that you do and it just like just gives you the ick. Like you're like, I know that I'm never going to sleep with
No,
this person. Like,
exactly.
no. And so he was like, well, give me an example. She goes, well, just last week I was on a date with somebody and we went to the park and he sat crisscross applesauce on the park on the grass. I was like, no way. I like that just cracked my shit up because I was like,
Oh my
I've
God.
so been there where it's just one little thing and you're just like, I could never even imagine nothing, like
No,
nothing, no intimacy
no,
with you whatsoever. And
no.
so they went on to a couple other ones and then they gave he got some examples from other friends and the other one that cracked me up was she goes, yeah, he went to pay for dinner, he takes out his wallet and I hear Velcro wallet. I was done. I was like, yes. And he goes, I didn't know I was one Velcro wallet or crisscross applesauce away from not getting screwed that night. He goes, this is crazy. And so it just made me think about like multiple things popped up in my head in my
Oh
dating
yeah.
and stuff like that, especially when I was younger. Like, like certain things you're just like, what was that? Like you didn't even know people did that shit,
Exactly.
like, oh my God. So yeah, it just cracked me up. And then when I brought it up, you were like, two things. So
Oh,
what are your two things?
immediately, which is funny because I don't necessarily think that I think what's interesting about that video is that it shows that we don't actually know in advance what it is. We might
No,
not be walking around with a list of, oh my God, if he does
no,
this, this, this. And
it's a
so,
feeling.
and I think for me, like I'm thinking the crisscross and even the Velcro, like there's something about them that don't feel particularly masculine. And if
Right.
you're attracted to a male for masculine, masculinity. So for me, I can think of two things. This is just random. And I've never thought about it this way until you said this. Like when a man stands with his hand on his hip,
Yeah, yeah.
right? That's so specific, I know, but every time
Like, ew.
it's always just like and that's terrible. I shouldn't. It's true. It's terrible, but it's true. We're being really
Yeah.
true here.
Yeah, we're
That
being
it does
truthful.
seem feminine to me, and because and I'm a married woman, I'm not looking to be attracted to other men, but it just becomes across as very effeminate to me. And again, that's perfectly okay,
Right.
unless I'm thinking that you might be a partner of mine, because no,
Right.
no, that's not. Yeah, no, no,
No,
no.
my
So that's
my my
one.
partner needs to have a certain, stature or like,
Maybe, yeah.
mannerisms. Oh
And I
yeah, for
hadn't,
sure.
like I said, I hadn't even thought about it. But the other one that popped into my head, this is always my go-to worst attempted, actually two, but they're the same thing. Bad pickup lines, right?
Oh God.
Really
Yeah.
like cheesy bad pickup lines. And both times the guy used his name. So when he said it, I knew you've said this to 5,000 women before, right?
Right.
Because it was
Right.
like right there. One was, I remember like when I was back in my 20s and living in Virginia and stuff in college, and a guy at like a bar coming up beside me and doing the whole, hey, I'm Ken, like Ken and Barbie,
Ugh. Barf.
right? And then the second one, I was actually a teenager. My parents were thinking about joining a gym that literally when gyms were first a thing a million years ago. And same thing, I remember a trainer there. I'm like 16, 17 years old. He's an adult male.
Right. Of
Uh,
course.
Probably maybe not, maybe 18, 19 years old, but it's not like he was, but still. And I remember him, same thing, walking up behind me. I'm like standing on the whatever. And he's like, hey, I'm Adam, like Adam and Eve. So that, like
Oh
twice,
my
right?
God. You're like, no, this
So
is a nightmare.
gross. So gross. So those are my icks. Those are my icks. What about
Okay.
you?
Okay. Well, I've had plenty of icks in my life where I was just like, it's such a turn off. And that's really what it is. It's such a
That's
turn
it.
off. Like, I thought you were cool. Oh my God. I need to find this video I saw. There was this, it was this was the visual ick if I had ever seen one.
Okay.
So this lady gets on a treadmill, this guy gets on a treadmill, and she
Yeah.
looks over and he's hot, right? He's all
Yeah.
built. He needs to work on his legs, but he's built and he's like beeping the treadmill
Skips
and
leg
she's like,
day.
oh, okay. So she straightens her ponytail and she's like running. And this somebody's watching it, right? And then the guy finally gets his speed on and he jumps on and he literally starts running like this. Like his arms are like flailing around, and her face, like the dread in her face, she was just like, and went away. Like he was so like weird, floppy running. She was just, it was like the ick. She got off that treadmill so fast. It
Oh
was
my God, I love it.
hilarious. And then and that was a couple days ago. So then this tied it in. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God. But that was like a total like, science project. Like
But you're right. The
break
ick
down.
equates to turn off, right?
Right.
Like
The
that's
total
like,
turn off, right? So
and you
what's
don't
your
even
turn
know
off?
necessarily until you
Right.
see it or hear it. And then you're like, oh, this is horrible, horrible,
Right.
horrible.
Right.
Oh my
Right.
God, I love it.
So one of mine is like a bad kisser. Like and I like bad kissers.
But
Oh,
define it because bad kissing can mean lots of things. What does it mean for you?
okay. So there's a couple of different versions of
Okay.
bad kissers. The bad
Okay.
kissers are like the little, they like kind of like just like move their lips around on yours. And I'm
Right.
like, what is this? And then the other one is the sloppy kisser. If I pull back and I have drool on my face, like you need to like do
That.
something. Like there should be no drool on my face. It should not like and their
There
mouth
should
is
be no
wide open.
evidence.
Like I can't. No, I can't. No.
You just made me think of one. I'm so sorry. Rose, I'm
No,
sorry.
all the whole
I'm
time.
really sorry, Rose. I'm really sorry. I just thought of one, and it's like when somebody kisses you, and you're going into the French level of kissing,
Yeah.
but their tongue just sits there.
Yes.
What is
And you're
that?
like, and you're like, what? Yeah. And then, but you're
What do you
kissing them.
think?
They're like, I've never been kissed like that before. Obviously. Like,
This
what?
is horrifying though, because as I think about us describing it, I'm like, kissing is disgusting. What were we
Disgusting.
thinking?
Yeah. We are
It's so
putting our dirty
disgusting.
tongues in each other's mouths. I
It's
don't know
so
if you brushed your
gross.
teeth. Like, what? I mean, we just ate a garlic bread. I don't know. Right. Kissing in general is just disgusting,
It's so
but fun.
disgusting.
But fun. And a total turn on. It's the most disgusting turn on ever.
It really is. It should
It
be the
really is.
ultimate ick, and it's not.
It,
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
it
how.
really should be. Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
how.
There's another one. I don't know if I could even, yeah, I'm going to say it.
Don't
So,
make us vomit. Just don't make us vomit. Okay.
no, I saw this other reel. I don't know why these are all popping into my head right now, where this guy is dropping off his wife at her high school reunion. And she was like, he's like, ooh, have fun. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to see all my people. And she jumps out of the car before she closes the door. She goes, some of the guys here fingered me. Bye. And closed the door and skipped off. And he goes, oh.
Imagine that. You're going back to your high school reunion and you're facing those people now, and you're all going to pretend like it didn't happen. We're all going to pretend like it didn't.
Jumps out the car, tells her husband.
Oh my
God.
God.
I was like, that is the best
Wow.
relationship ever. Like that is
Wow.
amazing. So, anyways,
Wow.
so
Ooh.
terrible kissers, but also little things like a dirty house, like a nasty bathroom.
Oh,
Like
no,
I can't, like if
no,
I
no,
see if there's any if it no,
no.
no.
Well, because here's the way I look at that. Like, if you, let's say it's a one night stand, right?
Right.
If you left your house tonight thinking, my goal is to get lucky, I'm bringing some person back here,
You better clean your house.
and you didn't bother to clean your house, that says a lot about you.
Oh,
Like,
totally. Well,
seriously.
and it says a lot about how they treat the people in their life. Like I
And
didn't
how they manage their life, right? All the
right.
above, right? All the things.
Yeah, well, I'm never home, so my house is a mess. Well, you're probably never home because you're avoiding cleaning your home.
Well,
Like
yeah, we talked about
you're
that, the
so
whole chaos
busy.
thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, that's chaos. So
Blech.
that kind of stuff. A nasty car, like a dirty, nasty, gross car. No, like it doesn't need to be immaculate. But like if I see that it's like that, no, I don't know, because that tells me a lot. That tells me a lot. But little funny ick things like, there's some gross things that I've seen people do, and I'm like,
All right, we're not going to get much grosser. We're going
yeah,
to have to
no,
get
no, no.
another
But
disclaimer.
there's we'll have to have another disclaimer, but like certain things where I've witnessed like family members and stuff like that, and I'm just like, how are
We've
you
had some
married?
conversations.
Yes,
Right?
like how are you? Ew.
Ew.
What?
Ew.
So,
Yeah,
anyways,
no.
but
Wow.
onward and upward. So those are some icks. I just thought that was funny, and we were just cracking up about it. But like
Onward and upward. So
So
we're
true.
going to, this is like our holiday version. We're going to assume this is our like New Year's wrap up too, because we don't know if we're going to record again between now and New Year's because we're not that organized.
Well,
So
and we also have a shit ton of stuff going
we
on.
have a
So
shit ton. So maybe we will, maybe we won't. So in case we don't, we're going to wrap it up. And if for some reason we do, we'll call it a bonus or we'll pretend it's a New Year, whatever. People will never know, except that I just said it. But regardless, so we're talking about, and it could be like best Christmas memory as a kid, worst Christmas memory as a kid, but leading into like things to think about as folks are approaching the holidays. Everybody's about to pile into their cars, hop on airplanes, go visit the fam. Just some of those reminders. We've done this before, but we know that it's important for us to hear them over and over again, especially as we think about like parenting and our
yeah.
kiddos and what's okay and what's not okay and all the fun stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about. And hopefully a little bit more humor that goes along with that, along with some sage advice, some wisdom to
And
share
then we'll
with
sage you on
around
the
us.
way out.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
right. So do you want to go first? Want me to go first? What do you want to do?
Yeah, like so we
Here.
were talking like best and worst Christmases. And there's as kids, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. I'm like, I know I give my mom a bad rap about everything, right? But there were certain things that I really appreciated about growing up that she did that were super special and cool that no other parents really did.
Yeah.
So it was like I felt special because my friends were like, I didn't get a stocking like that. Like my mom, like we never really had a lot of money for a lot of presents, right?
Yeah.
Like it was very rare that we got something big.
Yeah.
But but the stocking was always bomb. You know, the stocking always had a handful of certain things that were always in there. A giant jawbreaker at the toe, like one of those
Yeah.
big ones from, and they would go to the candy store in Santa Cruz. Like, you know, for that time, it was like really cool. They would have like saltwater taffy and some nuts and oranges and like all of that stuff. But then it
Yeah.
would have like cool like things that you needed, like hair ties or
Yeah.
underwear or but then there was also little trinkets and little different things in there, maybe a pair of
Yeah.
earrings that was super small and wrapped up. So it was really cool because that was like the best part about Christmas. So,
Yeah.
and we got to open the stockings before they got up. So it was like, go open your stocking. So we got to sit there and eat little candies and stuff. And so
Love
now,
that.
like the stocking is always, pretty dope for the girls. Like
Yeah.
for all my kids, like even last year, I would send like stockings to my kids, my
Yeah.
older kids. And each year I'd get them a cool stocking. So I'm sure they have a collection of different stockings. I even did their initials on them one year and stuff. So,
Oh.
I always do a little something different. This year they're getting a handmade card.
I love
So
it.
this year they're getting a handmade card because that's all I can afford.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was always fun. And and we would do stuff like that. But also Christmas was also like a shit show at our house. Once they got up, it was a nightmare. Like it was
That dynamic,
moaning,
right?
groaning. Like
Like,
it's so like we loved that quiet time before they got up because it was just us kids opening up our stuff and just letting them sleep. And so that
right.
was our favorite part because once they got up, like it was over. The fun was over. It was bitching and moaning and screaming and do this,
Yep.
do that. You guys are ungrateful, blah, like it was just always
Yep.
something. So there's always a little, it was like always bittersweet the holidays because it was no matter what the holiday was, it was always like that. There was
Yeah.
always a little something special, but then there was also the BS that went with it.
Yeah.
Um, but that's kind of it. Like I have never had like a Christmas where I was like, this is the best Christmas ever
Yeah.
because it was always just so low key,
Yeah.
and I've never like had anybody make a big deal about me like relationship wise or anything. So
Yeah.
it's always just been like me, like I always give
Right.
the gifts and don't really get any. So that's just
Yeah.
how it's always been. So I'd
It's the
never,
whole like, giver mentality, right? Like you're the
yeah,
one who
like
gives them and yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want everybody to be happy. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure one year, one time, some way down the road, somebody will do something spectacular for me. But
Yeah.
like for me, it's about doing it for everybody else.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's interesting. I feel like I wonder how much of this is like a mom thing. Because I think I have a similar mentality about like I'm the person who makes sure all the stockings get stuffed. I'm the person who makes sure
Yep.
all and Joe's really great, but he definitely like it's almost like he has to be prompted, right? Like,
Right, right,
and
right.
I've heard this story so many times from moms, like, oh, I stuff my own stocking, or I do my own,
Oh,
that kind of stuff.
totally. I do every year. Yeah.
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 So there's so much similarity between us, and not shocking giving our similar childhoods, but because as I think about it, it's like there is no distinct best or worst.
Yeah.
There are good and bad that went with every holiday, right? Like there was
Right.
no standalone holiday where it just was no drama, no whatever. But interestingly enough, and again, I think this the one way I relate to my mom is that in the midst of all the crazy and the horror and the abuse and the
Right.
horrific stuff, she had a mom heart, or she has. She's
Right.
not dead, but not in my
So
world.
did my
She
mom.
had the
Yeah.
mom's heart, or at least she did then. And what I mean by that is, like, as I think about the preparation that goes into deciding the gifts and getting the gifts and making sure the gifts are there. And my mom is who I got the decorating from.
Yeah.
Like, my mom always decorated. Like, I remember the house we grew up in, was on a pretty big piece of property, and there were this is such a random memory, these two holly trees. Like, we had a horseshoe
Oh,
driveway,
cool. Yeah.
and there were these two really big holly trees. And it's so funny because when I think back, I know she did lights all around the house. I can't really picture that, but I picture these holly trees because she would always put the really giant colored bulbs in them, all the
Oh,
way up.
cute. Okay.
And it's such an interesting way that our brain works, right? Because I have such a vivid memory of that. Um, but there were a couple of Christmases, like one year where the three of us got bikes, like 10-speed bikes, right? And
Right. Right. I was like
one
6
year,
and I
I
got a
think I've
10
told
speed.
this. Yeah, exactly. I told this story about one year how I was taking piano lessons, and they surprised me because they bought a neighbor's like used piano, and
Oh,
they made a big
wow.
deal about. So, but and so like that moment, right, where you're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. But then
Yeah.
like an hour later, everybody's screaming at each other. Like you said, you're so ungrateful. You guys have like just the negative that sucks it out. But I have to remind myself that, okay, but somewhere in there was a mother's heart because she took the time to do that. She took the time to think
Exactly.
about it. You know what I
Exactly. But
mean?
I think that part of it is maybe, she was like us, they were like us, where, we're going to give, 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 give. And for us to not receive, I think because we've seen how people can react to that. Like, cause
Yeah.
I mean, the experiences that I had with giving gifts to my mom was not fun because it was always like, this isn't what I wanted. Why
Oh,
did
yeah.
you buy me this? I remember one time that my stepdad bought my mom some perfume. And
Okay.
like there's perfume and then there's Eau de Toilette. Eau de Toilette is like a little watered down, but it's more
Yeah.
affordable, but it's the same
Yeah.
scent and everything. He bought her Eau de Toilette, and she goes, "You bought me toilet water?" Like
Oh my
literally,
gosh.
he was so crushed. I could see it. And she was just berating him about
Yeah.
buying her toilet water, and she didn't understand. And I was just like, you never knew what you were going to get when you gave the gift. So I think that like
Yep.
people kind of backed off from that, but then she would be mad if you didn't get her anything. And then we're
Yep.
ungrateful and blah, blah, blah. So it was just like this trap, like you were damned if you do and damned if you didn't. And so everybody started backing off from that. I've never been like that. I've always appreciated anything that I
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
whether it was a handmade thing or a cool thing. Like I loved it all. Like my kids, the grandparents used to take them to the dollar store.
Yeah.
And I remember
That's
one
great.
year I got a frog, a female frog in a bikini on a jet ski.
Oh my God, I love it.
I hid that thing like crazy, but like I appreciated it, and then one day it
Exactly.
just disappeared when we moved. I don't
Did
know.
it break by accident? I don't know.
I think
These
she
things
jet
happen.
skied into the trash can. I don't know. But
Oh, okay. She escaped.
Chase is
She
gonna
escaped.
kill me if she ever hears this episode because it was hilarious. She's
And
gonna be
tell
like,
will know.
I knew it because she remembered that fucking thing. But anyways, what I'm saying is like I don't think that she could get past her own bullshit
Yeah.
to really appreciate, like it was like this wasn't good enough and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And I don't want to be that person, so I'm always
That's
like,
right.
no, 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 like.
Yep.
And I think that's the example that we were given, so we are very much so selfless when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I want to be a little more selfish, but at the same time I don't want to. Like if you feel like you want to do something nice for me, do it. Just do it.
Right.
Please do it because I would appreciate it you
It's
know
and I feel like it's a weird dynamic. And again, I don't know if it's universal to mothers at all. So I'm curious about people who are listening, but like we go out of our way to make it as special as possible for the people around us, right?
It's an
Our kids, our
experience.
families, the whole
Yeah.
thing. But then then you see like the messaging, and I'm going to call it on social media, right? And of like, the moms are exhausted, the moms are, feel kind of bad because people aren't doing the things, but it's like, but didn't we create that monster? Like if
Yeah.
we basically said, no, 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 I'll do it. No, 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 I got it. No, no, no. We kind of created that monster. So
Yeah.
it's like we have to pull it apart. So I feel like that kind of leads a little bit into like, if you're, as you navigate the holidays, right? If you're feeling overburdened, or if you're feeling resentful because you're doing all the things,
Right.
you got to own that maybe we're doing some of that to ourselves. Now, if you're the if you're the person who's like asking for help from your partner, or asking for, and people are not doing it, that's a whole
That's a
different
different
story. But
story.
if I
Yeah.
assume you're like most of us and you're just doing all the things and then pissed that nobody else is doing it,
Right. And
kind
that
of
and that
create,
just takes a little bit of communication,
exactly.
but at the same time we could be in situations where we don't get the help, like the
Absolutely.
person that I'm dating right now and stuff like that, like they came over and put up Christmas lights on my house. They were
Yes.
like, "No way, you're not going to not decorate your house." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not really in the Christmas spirit this year. It's
Yeah.
taking a lot for me to get into it. I just have a lot of stuff going on." But like I was like, I've never been married to, in a relationship, or dated anybody that ever wanted to decorate the outside of the house. And I was like,
That's
and they were
amazing.
like, yeah, like we need to put lights out on the house. Like we need
Yeah.
to, like it needs to be cute and it needs to be this and it needs to be that. And
Gotta
I'm
deck
like,
the halls, bitch.
yeah. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, and they didn't ask me for help at all. They're like, like, let's go
Oh,
get the lights. And they put it up, nail, screw in the hook, like the whole shebang. Like, and it
that's
took two
amazing.
days to get everything up, because
Yeah.
we had to go get more lights and blah, blah, blah. But like, I've never had anybody do that before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Somebody that actually wants to, like, they're like, no, we need to do this. Like, it's, let's get it up. Cause I wasn't even going to put up a tree.
Yeah.
Janice, I wasn't
I
even going to put
know.
up a tree.
We talked
Now it's
about
up
it.
and
Good.
it's decorated and the
Good.
stuff's up and I have my nutcrackers in the window and all the stuff.
I
So,
love it.
and I'm decorated behind me now. And I'm going to go open the garage and look for some more lights so I can finish doing my little secret garden in the backyard. So,
Oh,
but they
I love
motivated
that.
me and I really appreciated that beyond, what I have going on, they were like,
Absolutely.
let's do it for the girls, let's do it for you, you need it, and I was like, I
Absolutely.
really appreciate that. So it's to have somebody surprise you like that and just be like,
Yep.
look, be thoughtful, like that meant a lot to me, and I was
Yes.
like, wow, like somebody actually cares about helping, one, two, doing it all, and then
Yep.
three, like knowing that it would bring me joy,
Yeah.
and they wanted to see that. They're like,
Yep.
I know you like Christmas, don't act like this, and I'm like,
I
I know.
love it. Well, sometimes it is being forced to kind of do it, right? Like you said, now the
Yeah,
decorations up, that's going to lift, right? That's going to help lift
exactly. And
the,
it feels better. The girls are hanging
yep.
out in the living room. It's cute in there, but they
Yep.
have their little tree skirts. I'll have to take a picture of it for you
My
because
God,
Aunt
that's
Janice
so
got us a
great.
new tree skirt that matches our tree because it's
I
barbecue.
love it.
Yeah,
That's so cute. I love that
yeah,
so much.
yeah. I
Um,
even found a pink, a zebra nutcracker in a pink like uniform. It's so fucking cute. Oh,
oh
and
my God.
I gotta tell you, I we were having fun. We were at Michael's and we were looking around, and he calls me unicorn. He's like, "You're just like a unicorn. Like, I've never met anybody like you." And I'm like, "Okay, cool.
Okay.
You call me a unicorn. That's right. I am a unicorn." So he always calls
Right,
me
bitch.
unicorn. And so I found a unicorn nutcracker.
Oh my God.
And you know me, I'm just excited because I'm just like, ooh, look what I
That
found. And
is
I go,
awesome.
look, babe, I found me as a nutcracker. And we both started laughing so hard, so freaking hard. I
Oh
was
my
like almost
God.
peeing my pants laughing so hard. And I was like, ball buster, nutcracker, whatever you want to call it. And this
Same
lady
thing.
was walking by. She goes, "You have the best freaking laugh." She was like, I just cracked
Oh,
myself up. Like, and she just laughed even harder. We had so much fun. But yeah, this freaking unicorn nutcracker. We didn't end up getting it, but it was a joke and it was funny. So,
I love it. That is fantastic. It's so it is. Why don't we like talk a little bit now then about some of the, like we're starting to kind of get into like perfection and like okay, bring it on yourself, etc. But
yeah.
now let's talk a little bit about like some of the things that we know are things that come with the holidays that that people can be thinking about, right? And the thing that's always in my mind is like how we message for our kids the family dynamics of holidays,
Right,
right?
right.
So like
And how to manage that and what's right and what's not right and what they have the
exactly.
choices of and stuff like that.
And I
Yeah.
think that, for me, this part of the conversation is like, if you're in a family situation where everything seems good, like there's no big issues, then this part of the conversation might not be for you. But most of us are sitting in situations where we're either about to receive a bunch of family or we're about to go out to a bunch of family.
Right.
Sometimes it's that age old, like taking our kiddos and we're going to go to, grandma's, or we're going to go to Aunt Bessie's, or we're going to go wherever, and they're going to see a bunch of people they see once a year, if that. These people are kind of strangers to them, but they're, they're their family, etc. And reminding ourselves, about some of the dynamics of that. And the thing that always comes to me is like this whole, like, you know, we want our kids to feel connected to family so much that
Right.
we expect them to treat family in the same way that they wouldn't treat other people. For example, right? Like this is always one of the messages that I like to put forward is like if your kid is going into a family situation, family and friend situation, and there are people there that they maybe they're a teenager and they just are in that don't hug me, don't touch me phase. Maybe they're a little kid, but there are people they don't want to like the whole like messaging around, oh, you should hug Uncle Lewis, right? Like give him a big hug, or oh no, let so and so like the messaging around like all year long, we say to our kids, your body, your decision, like, never touch somebody you don't want to touch, never let somebody da da da. And then we get with our family and we're like, no, 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 everybody should do whatever they want
Great.
to, right?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing. And so just a reminder to folks, like, it's a great way, set your kid up, right? Before you go into the situation, like, listen, high fives, handshakes, hugs,
Bugs. Yep.
whatever you want is totally fine. And nobody should make you feel bad about that or feel different about that. And then as the parent, follow through on that and support them, right? Oh gosh, Janie's just not in a hug place right now. You know how kids are. So she gives lots of high fives or whatever it is, like help set them up for what they'll feel comfortable with.
Right. Right. No, and I agree. And my youngest child,
Yeah.
and she is very quiet,
Yep.
and people that don't know her that well don't like that she's so quiet and will poke and poke and poke and
Yeah.
poke. Why are you so quiet? And blah 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 blah. And I just go,
Oh,
leave her alone. Like
right?
she's fine. Like leave
Right.
her alone. But all throughout her very younger age, like relationships that I was in a relationship when she was younger, and my ex, like you have to talk, you have to say hello, you have to give them a hug, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I'm like, no, she
Yes.
doesn't.
Yep.
She's not comfortable. Like sometimes she's not even comfortable in her own skin. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm not. And when I'm in that mode and I'm around a bunch of people that I don't know, the last thing I want to do is have somebody touch me
Exactly.
or provoke me and make me talk to them. Like just let
Yep.
me chill. And I think that older people see it as being disrespectful,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I think that our generation is a lot more in tune with our emotionally sensitive
Yeah.
children and everything
Yeah. I think you're
else.
right.
And so it's like this, you got to make the choice on where you stand and how
Yep.
you're going to handle it as their adult, as their parent, with the family as well. Because I had to really fight for her.
Yeah.
Like, stop. Like, just leave her alone. Well, if she's not going to learn this and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, she's her own human being. Like just
Exactly.
leave them alone. And like grandparents will, oh, what are they? Blah, 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 blah. So my thing is like, look, and I've always told her this, like, you don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to hug anybody.
That's right.
Well, certain people, like, your Uncle Devin, who give him a hug. Like,
Right.
don't be weird. But like, everybody else, screw it. Don't
Right.
worry about it. And if they give you any problems, come talk to me because I
Yep.
will protect you and I will
That's
not
right.
embarrass you and I will not make you do anything that you don't want to do. And
But
we
see,
will leave.
this is such a great reminder though, Jane. I'm so glad we're having this conversation because you and I are so hyper aware of all of this, right? And so I do try like I think about my nieces and nephews who live on the East Coast. And so when I see them, I try to remember they're all kind of getting into the teenage years to say, I'm a hugger. Hug, high
Is it
five,
okay?
blah, blah,
Yeah.
what would you prefer, right? But I'm thinking about like the last time you guys were here, right? And I immediately went to hug both girls, of course. You I could have cared less about, but them. Um, And now I'm sitting here thinking I should be doing the same thing with them. And like, especially Jenny, right? But this
Right.
is so it's such a great conversation for us to have because none of us are perfect. All we can do is
Right.
try,
Right.
right?
And we
And
forget
so
because we get
we
excited
forget.
and we see them. And,
Exactly.
they absolutely adore you. Like
I know,
Jenny's
but
quiet. She's a
still,
mute, but
yeah,
she, like, we're going to Janice's. Okay.
I love that.
You
I
would
love that.
never
That makes me so
know when
happy.
she's there, but
Right.
she, with me and her sister, she feels the most comfortable.
Of
And
course.
that's where we see the most personality,
Right.
and she's starting to break out of her shell a little bit with you guys and stuff like that. But like,
Well,
it's
it was great when we had them because when we took them shopping, just because like there were only the four of us, right? So you weren't even there as a buffer, which doesn't
exactly.
mean she was like blah blah blah, but it created the condition where she at least a little bit more, right? Like at least
Exactly. She has
yeah,
to engage because
exactly.
you're asking her questions and I'm not
Right.
there to say anything. And
To be the
that's another
intermediary, yeah.
reason why I did that, because she is dependent on me. Like when
Yeah.
we go places and it's just her and me, she's behind me like my shadow, and like
Yeah.
she bumps into me. Like
Yeah.
she's that close. And so I need to put her in different safe situations where
Exactly.
she
Yeah.
can, release out
Build
of that
that.
a little bit. Yeah, with
Yeah,
other adults
absolutely.
that love her,
Yep.
because her whole life it's been moi.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't, like, I'm her only guardian, I'm her only
Yep.
person. And so, and it's a very small and tight knit. And so the fact that we have you in our life, and Joe and all the kids and the extended family, like it's
Yeah,
really fun for us because we don't have anybody out here. We
exactly.
came out
Yep.
here to help Devin and his family
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and did. And it took 4 years to get
Yep.
through all of that. And now it's just us. And so
Yep.
it's like, okay,
Yeah, exactly.
so
And
we
you're
have to
building
take
it.
advantage of the things that we can do with you guys and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So that's an angle from a parent perspective. Now I'm thinking about what popped into my head was like now taking care of ourselves as the adults, right?
Yeah.
And so same thing. I think that, so often we get into this place with we give our family so many outs because they're
Oh,
quote
yeah.
unquote family. And you and I've talked about this many times, right? Family is who you choose, right? It's not a privilege, it's not a right. Well, rather it is a privilege, it's not a right, right? You should be
Right.
earning your place as a family member. And so same thing, right? Like you're going into these dynamics and nobody should have to have a shitty holiday season because they just happen to have the family that's shitty, right? So
Right.
like, and we know, we just had another big election and everything, all the things are running
The
high and
combos.
everybody's heated. And it's perfectly a-okay to put those things aside, right? And kind of have a truce for a day and
Right.
enjoy people. And it's also perfectly okay to say, listen, in my mind, right? You and I have talked about boundaries, right? Boundaries, and I love your position on that always, which is that, it's not something you make other people do, it's something you're doing for yourself.
Yep.
And so set those for yourself. Establish before you go in, right? Like, what am I willing to
Put
I'm
up
going
with.
to use the word endure, right? What am
Yeah.
I willing to endure? And where's the line? And at what point am I just going to say, love you, gotta go, right? Like
And
Merry Christmas, gotta go.
yeah, but also what's the boundary for me? What am I going to bring to this? If I feel like
Yes.
my energy is drifting and lowering and I'm starting to feel a certain type of way, maybe that's my time before it gets ugly to go, you know what? I got to go.
Give myself a timeout, right?
Yeah, give myself, go on a walk, do whatever you
Yep.
need to do, because we are going to run into conversations that we don't want to have. We are going to be asked questions that we don't want to be asked. We're
Yep.
going to feel uncomfortable. Where, if that's what family's for, right?
Yeah.
And so those things are going to happen. But what am I willing to endure? And it's not even put up with. I say that just because to be funny, but like it is. What am I willing to endure? What am I willing to how far am I willing to go before
Yeah.
I have to bow out
Yep.
gracefully and not hurt anybody's feelings? I mean, it's probably going to hurt but people's feelings, but I can't worry about that part.
No.
But I'm going to save my sanity,
Yeah.
and also you got to make those choices. And we've talked about this multiple times. Like once you've made that choice that you're going, you can't be mad that you're there.
Exactly.
Best of it, have your
Yep.
boundaries and do what you got to do. Some families aren't like that. Some families are just like they have the best time. Like when we go over with you guys, like there's never any drama. Like
Yeah.
it's so much fun. And then we mingle with other families and we do stuff and
Yep.
then we get invited, because it's like they were fun.
Yeah.
So it's always a pleasant experience going to your
Yeah.
gatherings and stuff. And so that's why we do it, because we have so much fun. If it
But
wasn't
what's key about that is it's because we really take to heart that the experience you have rests on the people you choose to surround yourself with.
Right,
And
right,
so the reason it is that way when you guys are here is because these are the people we've chosen
right,
and it's our choice. And if
right.
you're bringing drama to it, I can choose to not have you here and
Yeah,
not
I
be
can
with
choose to
you.
stop inviting you,
And
and
I'm 53
or
years
vice
old. I'm
versa.
not.
Yeah, if it's
Exactly.
drama there, I can choose
Yep.
to not come,
And people start to know that about you, right? Like they start to know, oh, we're going to go to Janice and Joe's today. Like they're not going to put up with drama, right? Like that, like,
right.
and
And I'm
people
not going to
just check it
bring
at the
drama.
door.
Yeah, I'm not
Exactly.
going to bring drama. There's certain people that I wouldn't bring over because I just know that it wouldn't mesh very
Sure.
well,
Sure.
and so, and I want to enjoy my time with my family and
Exactly.
not bring something that's going to, alter that experience.
Right.
Oh, I'm only
Right.
going to bring somebody that will enhance it. I'm thinking about inviting my friend Janae and her son Andre to the family
Right.
because they would have so much fun and they are so much fun, and I know that you guys would love them.
Right.
Not, oh, maybe I should bring them, but it's going to be drama. But yeah, I'll just bring them
Right.
anyway. No,
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Yes.
I don't want
Exactly.
to be embarrassed by my guest. Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's a great perspective as well, right? Like be aware of what you're bringing into the situation.
Yeah.
Be aware of what you're willing to. We've both said endure. We've said tolerate. And the other piece, I think, I heard a psychologist say this one time. What's worth the price of admission, right? How
Right.
much am I willing to put up with? Because it's worth the price of admission on what I'm getting back from this, right? I think
Absolutely.
that's such a great way to think about it. Because at some point you're like, nope, not worth the price of admission anymore, right?
Yeah.
So tip the scales, got to go.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
the other thing about, our relationship and stuff like that, we have a very good understanding of each other and what we need. And
Yeah.
so like for example, like when you guys took the girls out, like I was just like, I don't have it in me to go shopping. I'm just going to
Yep.
sit here. I ended
Yep.
up taking a nap. That's exactly what I needed, and
Yep.
it was like you know that about me. I
Yeah.
know that you like to go run around stuff and that's your thing. Like I can handle about this much of it. And then I'm like, sorry, sis.
You
I need
did
to go
pretty
find
well from
somebody in
like
the
8 a.m.
backyard.
to 10 a.m. And then
Yeah,
you were,
like no, literally, that's how I am right now.
that was it.
Like 8 to maybe noon, and then it's like, all right, I need to like decompress, and like it's just how I am right now.
Yeah,
And the fact that you're appreciative of my communication of that,
of course.
and in that
Yeah.
relationship, it's not like you were out shopping. I can't believe I'm out here with her kids. She's here and she could have come, and now
Oh,
and
wait, we did do that.
I know Joe
That
said
wrong.
mom could be taking them to the mall, but that
Oh,
was because
heck
you
yeah.
guys went to the mall on Black Friday. That was your mistake. I don't even know what you guys
It
were
was
thinking.
our
That was a
choice. And it was,
choice.
look, we fell prey to our nieces in the back seat who were like, can we just go to a mall?
The
And
one
then
that
we,
doesn't ever talk, and you were like, oh, she spoke to us. We're going to the
she
mall.
spoke. If she said, can we just go to the North Pole? Guess what? We'd be fucking finding Santa right now.
She spoke to us.
I think it's calculated. I think she knows exactly that. And she's just like, I just have to keep my mouth shut long enough.
She's so smart. This girl, like she is like I know her so well.
Do
She
it.
I she is like the last couple days she hasn't really talked to me. And I'm like, okay. So last night she came home and she didn't say anything to me. So I went into her room and I was like, what, do I stink now? Like, you don't want to come talk to me when you get home? Like, what's going on? And she's like, so I could tell she was in a mood there was something going on.
Yeah.
And then later on, she came into my room and she was like, like being pouty. I go, I'm just gonna take a wild guess, and because I'm watching a friend's dog, I'm just gonna take a wild guess, and you're upset that the dog's here. Well, yeah, because of my cats. I go, I have to close the door. I go, you have to close the door anyway because you don't want them to go outside. She's outside in a kennel. She can't get to them. I go, so you're mad that you have to close the door just because you have to close the door? And she's just like, oh,
Yes.
like you need to stop.
Right.
Don't be this upset about something you have zero control over. It was my
Right.
choice. So
Right.
just deal with it. Okay.
Is what it is. It'll be over soon. Yeah.
She lightened up, she lightened up afterwards. But like I know her so well. I knew
Oh my
exactly what she
God.
was upset about. I
Yeah.
knew exactly her behavior. And I know
Right.
she hates it because I know her.
Of course.
She
Of
hates
course. I'm
it.
starting
So
to figure it out. Just
yeah,
starting to figure it out.
I call her out on her shit. But that's what she needs because
Yeah.
that's what we all need, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think that's,
So,
and that's, kind of a great place to start wrapping this up, right? Is this idea that like everything about this holiday season will be a choice. And even if you're in a position with a family situation where you're like, no, like if I don't show up, I know I'm gonna get shit. Okay, but still that's a choice, right? All of
Right.
it is a choice. And so, I think what I want to leave people with is like, take care of yourself this holiday season. And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean be a raging bitch and be selfish. That's not it's about me
I
Christmas.
mean, you
That just
could, but
means
it's not going to get you
take
far.
care of yourself. And it's okay to make some choices that will ensure that you have your own peace of mind, that you have some joy yourself. And if that means stuffing your own fucking stocking, then stuff it, right? And freaking wrap that stuff up and put it in there and then pretend to be surprised. And if you're like me, I wrap that shit up and then forget about it and then open it and be surprised because I'm like, oh,
Right.
that's right, I forgot.
Yeah, I bought myself. I mean, Santa brought me this. You know? Oh my God, that's hilarious. I've done that before. Like, oh my God, look at this spectacular piece of jewelry. Like this is great.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh
It's
my
like they
God, look
knew
at this new
me.
lotion. Ooh,
Oh my God.
so
I love
sweet.
it so much.
Gift
All
card to
right.
Sephora.
So last but not least, we
Yes.
are going into the new year.
Yes.
We high five because we hit our 50 episodes. This is actually 51, I think. So we made our goal for
We
the
went
podcast.
above
We
and
started
beyond our
it
goal.
above and beyond. We have committed to continuing in 2025. We're not
Yes.
making a commitment to a number yet. We're feeling it out. We
Guys,
got
we're not
lots
going
going
anywhere. I
on.
love how she tries to like fuck around and act like we're
But
going
I
somewhere.
want
Like,
people to be worried. I want there to be like a petition
I don't
with
want them to stop listening because they think
10,000.
that we're not going to have any more
Oh,
episodes.
see, I was thinking the opposite, that they would like get people to sign a petition to beg us to stay. That's
The
not,
5 people that listen to us is
yeah.
not a big enough petition. Rose,
I would take it.
Daw, get your people, get them on a
And
petition
I'm on it. Let's go.
for us to see.
But
That's
we
all it's really
are
for, is for us to
20,
see.
this is for us to see. We just need fake it. I don't care. A bunch of names, right? Like
Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy,
Buddy smells a lot. Like I don't care. Like, come up with whatever.
Little Bunny Foo Foo.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Um,
let's go.
But we are, in all seriousness, so grateful for you guys. Grateful to have had this year with you showing up, listening. Our intention is always to bring you some sage advice, some expertise from our own experiences, but also to, be incredibly real about it and to bring that all with a sense of humor. So
Yes.
thank you. That's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you for 2024.
Yeah,
Have we just
2024, man. It's been definitely a year. And I am excited for the new year. I'm excited to end this year with the holidays and, try to make the best of everything. But I'm excited for next year. I have so many great things coming. I'm rebranding. I rebranded all my
Yeah, you
Moxie
did.
Code stuff and I announced it on LinkedIn, and I'll be posting on our dumpster diving with Janice and Jane too. We're just going to cross pollinate on all of our stuff.
Amen.
No, like I'm not worried. Like I don't want to worry about people. Oh, well, I don't like that you do that. You know what? You're gonna like me or you're not.
There you
And
go.
I'm this on the podcast. I'm this in my coaching. I am very versatile, and I have, like I like different stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, starting another podcast that's going to be coming soon. So,
So
hopefully it all
much
stays
fun.
afloat and we can do this and we can woo 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 do it all in person maybe one
A
day on
freaking,
stage.
a freaking men. I love it. All right, you guys have a wonderful holiday season. The happiest of New Year's. We'll see you in 2025.
Yes.
Peace out.
Bye.